What's up guys, Yin Dragon here, and I'm welcoming you all to my Payday 2 Armory. For today's episode, I'll be covering up the Czech's Skorpion, submachine gun / machine pistol. The weapon can be fired and is fully automatic or semi-automatic, and of course in this in-game they call it the Cobra. Of course the weapon is from Czechoslovak Socialist Republic by by manufacturer of Česká Stříbro Gufa, sorry I butchered the name, arms factory in Sky Broad from 1963 to 1979. Of course the weapon is classified as a machine pistol due to its very compact size and able to fit in a pistol holster. It was in service in 1961 and still been used today. It's been used throughout a few wars. Of course, it was the Vietnam War, Lebanese Civil War, the Troubles International Conflict in Peru, the Yugoslav Wars, and the first Libyan Civil War. It was designed by, I'm probably gonna butcher the name, Miroslav Ryba. And of course it was designed in 1959, and approximately 200,000 of these were built. And the particular gun model is, well, this is the VZ61 variant. Mostly recognizable for its plastic pistol grip and of course a 20 round magazine, but more importantly is the caliber it fires. It fires the .32 ACP, or known as the 7.65 by 17mm Browning SR. So a very much smaller caliber, though there are other variants that does use different pistol calibers. But we're going to talk specifically the C1 variant of the Skorpion. So let's actually look at the base stats of the gun. Of course, the Skorpions were used by tank crews or other, used by soldiers or by tank crews to be at least having a small compact size, especially when you're fitting into a very tight box, like a tank for example, and they need a weapon at least a full auto capability, but does deliver a few more rounds. So they come up with the Skorpion. It's not very popular compared to like the Uzi or the MP5, but I still admire its looks. So let's look at the base stats on the weapon. We have a magazine capacity of 20 rounds, total ammo of 220, rate of fire of 1000 RPM, where normally it could only fire around 850 to 900 RPM, but I say it's still on its mark. Damage of 44, accuracy of 28, stability of 68, concealment of 28, threat of 6, and a reload time of 2.8 seconds. And of course this is another of the high rate of fire, low damage SMGs, which definitely has some high concealment. And of course to get this weapon, of course it's free for when you're playing on the Crime Wave edition, while on PC you're going to need to buy either the Hotline Miami DLC or get it from the Legacy collection. So actually let's take a much closer look on the weapon. Now since the gun's so small, I can easily zoom in to the max, and it does not cut the edge around my screen on my TV. Not even like the magazine cuts it a little bit, I can still see it perfectly. So one of the more uniqueness to the Skorpion is its shape of its stock. Of course you can see the stock is located in front of the barrel, and of course once you unfold the stock you can see much more clear of the Skorpion, But that's what makes it such a recognizable machine pistol. It's just the way that shape is. Now we do have some reading in Czech, which I have no idea. Looks like some type of serial number for a pigtail rail to mount for your gadget. And you can see there's some numbers on there. There's look like meter 1, 2, and 3. So that's actually part of it. It's not really built in, but it's just part of it. We have of course, our charging handle on the left as well as the right side. So you can charge it either way from either side. And of course, the inside the gun will be, it's a basically 2D, which you can't really, looks like you can't even see the spring or even the bolt from the side. It just looks a little bit weird like this. And of course you can see the bolt is on top, so it does have a similar telescopic bolt like an Uzi. We have our 20 round magazine. We have one of the two buttons for the magazine release switch. I presume the very big one in the center, right on top of the mag, is the magazine release. We have our fire selector, which very uniquely it has actually numbers this time. The number 20 is and stands for full auto, 1 with the 0 is safety, and 1 is for semi-automatic. And as we look at the right side, we got more readings to saying Czech Republica. So this particular version probably was made in Czech Republic, you know, before the name was differently from Czechoslovakia, but now they changed it to Czech Republic. So this was probably a Republican version of it. And more readings in Czech, which I don't understand. And of course we have the iron sights. Of course we have the rear sight, which says 75, which I presume this is for 75 meters. And if we look at the back of the sight, we can see there's actually a backup rear sight, which I presume, since these are much smaller, I think this is more used for close quarters or much more longer range. So it could be either for 25 meters or maybe 100 meters. I have no idea. But more importantly, you shouldn't be able to snipe with this gun because it's a machine pistol. It's not accurate as an assault rifle. This is useful in very tight urban close quarters. So it's pretty damn small, pretty compact. Now let's actually look over the attachments. Now, of course, it does come with a unique barrel extension. You can have is the suppressor, and you can see that's the way it looks. It looks pretty big, a little bit, kind of looks a little bit off, and I even find the suppressor to be even larger than the gun itself, which is kind of ridiculous. And I would think you can even serve the suppressor as a additional foregrip to rest your hand in, but I'm pretty sure most people when wielding a Skorpion two-handed would actually have their other hand basically tucked right next to the magazine and the lower receiver. We have different boosts. We can have our single fire or auto fire. We have, of course, our gadgets. Now here's a little bit unique to the Skorpion. Alongside the micro Uzi, as well as the PM9, which is essentially a Japanese version of the mini Uzi that was added during the Smuggler Weapon Pack 2, there are the only SMGs that could accept pistol gadgets. So there's no military laser module, no compact laser module, no LD combo. It has all the pistol attachments. So if you want some stability, if you want to have a flashlight and a laser sight with stability, combined module is the only way to have this. And unlike the unlike the and unfortunately the combined module is not a gauge mod courier pack where you can able to get the military electric module a lot more frequently. Getting a combined module is not that easy. You mostly had to get it from card drops, or unless you spend your continental coins to get these. And you can see when you add a gadget onto the Skorpion, it has even another accessory rail. And it's almost kind of funny that it almost touched the stock as well. So if this was the case, you couldn't even able to unfold the stock like this, which is ridiculous. So that's another accessory rail, and it looks a little bit goofy on the gun. I'll show you my fully decked Skorpion later, but this is pretty ridiculous, so they add another pigtail rail. Of course, we have our two grips. We got the ergo grip, and of course we have the wooden grip, which actually transformed the Skorpion. This is to the original Skorpion, which the original had the wooden grip. But for this one, of course, the black is a more of a plastic grip. Now we have a magazine attached to our extended mags, but and honestly, it's not even extended mags. Plus, it mounts pretty weird. Well, first of all, it's not really. It's not even an extended mags at all. You're not even increasing the magazine capacity on it. All it does is just makes you reload your weapon faster, which, honestly, that's what they should have done. I do like the cool idea to have this type of magazine, but there's absolutely no way for you to be able to have 40 rounds because you're still using the same magazine. Which I'm pretty sure they would have to waste a lot more resources to make a different ammunition to reload the Skorpion. But if you also notice, as we get a closer look with the magazine now, we can see it has the caliber on top of the magazine well. Of course, that's the caliber of the .32 AZP. And by the look of the magazine, you can able to clamp so many together, but I think 2 is perfectly enough. To me, it just looks pretty weird to see you can able to increase 40 rounds with this magazine, so honestly, you should just reload faster with it. Or unless they have a magazine capacity to even increase to 30 rounds. What about the little fast mag or dual mags? Of course, you can grip any sight to it, and even though where the sight pictures it, even though I don't like the fact where the sight or even the scope mount is put right in close in front of the barrel of the gun, normally I don't like this on the AKs or the M14s or even the Mac 11. I find it's obstruct more my view compared to the iron sights, as I always like to have it right at the back. But this is one of the few exceptions to which I'm perfectly fine with it, because it's how compact the weapon is, how small it is, and having a sight on that is perfectly fine. Now, if you, of course, you may notice, now, thanks to having that scope mount, it gets away, it gets the stock. Unfortunately, it's in a way for the stock to be unfolded, so you're going to be stuck like this. So, the first thing, if you want to get the stock unfolded and having the red dotted grip, you would have to unfold the stock first before putting a optic on. And funny enough, you can put on mostly any sight, even the ACOG sight, which is a little bit bizarre. And then we have the stocks. Of course, we got the folding stock, able to unfold, and you can see it looks like a stinger of a Skorpion, and maybe that's why they call it a Skorpion in the first place. Doesn't look, I mean, looks okay. Doesn't look that pretty with the stock unfolded, but when it's folded, that looks sexy. And of course you have the no stock, which completely removes the stock. It does give you a better clear of your iron sight. Now, if you do have the no stock and the single fire equip, you basically made a civilian model of the Skorpion where it can only fire a single shot. There's also a case of a 10-round mag Skorpion. Pretty interesting to know, which I'm surprised they didn't add it. It would make uniqueness to the build, but oh well, they do what they can do. And then we have my fully decked out Skorpion, and you can see it's quite, I don't know what the word for it. It's quite a banana. You have the freaking compensator, you have the sight, you have a freaking giant gadget, you have your freaking dual mags, you got the stock on full. It's just so weird. And plus, if you really had like fat fingers, it must be really hard to try to get a comfortable feel to be able to hold on to the Skorpion with your left hand, or with the hand that you have that you're not on the trigger. And of course the Kimbo versions are quite basically similar. Of course, anytime you have a Kimbo weapon, you lose a bit 36 stability, and reload time is a little bit different with 3 seconds as opposed to same. After all, they just reskin it, they just rush it for the Kimbo weapons. So that was a lot to talk about the Skorpion and its attachments and a lot of its details. And honestly, after all, I do enjoy going over a few details on the weapon and some variants. After all, I love to break the game's logic of the weapons. Plus, it's nice to get the kick out of it. Alright, let's see these, let's see if the Cobra or the Skorpion still stings. See you in the field. Alright, here we are at the firing range with the Skorpion. And you can see how very small, very compact. And of course when you aim, you see the stock. Of course when you have the stock unfolded, or none at all, the iron sight will get much clearer. And it feels like my hand basically swells up, go up the magazine. So let's get this thing loaded up and see how it goes. And you can see that the bolt actually opens a little bit hard when in charge, so it does fire from an open bolt. Alright, here we go, going hot. Totally getting accurate. Yeah, you don't get really much round with the magazine here. Even though I took single shot, I don't think none of them even come close hitting where the front post of the sight is. And of course we're going to go full auto and we're a little bit up. So this makes things interesting how many rounds it would work. So I'm going to try this one again, but this time I'll see how the recoil goes, and I won't try to control it this time. Going up. Ah shit, I put a single fire, my bad. So we see I did one bullet by accident, but when I shoot that first bullet, it went all the way to the left and went all the way up vertically. Most of the time when I fire weapons, well, most other games, like COD for example, most weapons will fire up like this, and usually they go a little bit to the right. Most of the time. I gotta give you another go and see. The patterns is not fairly predictable, it's going to yank anywhere you go. So I'm going to try this again. And you see, this time it went all the way to a bit to the right and up, as opposed to a little bit to the left and up. So it definitely has some unpredictable recoil, but it is showing you the basic first hippo, and that's what you have when you have either very high accuracy or low accuracy, and especially with stability. Alright, now I'm going to go for test 3, which this time I'll try to control the recoil this time. Alright. Here we go, going loud. Not too bad. I mean, I could have done a little bit better if this weapon would have a much larger mag. But definitely didn't went outside of the garage door. Able to land all those marks. Not bad for able to try to control the recoil on a weapon that shoots 1,000 RPM. But now you've seen with one Skorpion. Now we got 2 Skorpions. So we're gonna have twice the sting on that door. And thank God these rounds are not tipped with venom. There we go. I feel like these are gonna be like any other Kimode SMGs that shoots very fast and have a low mag. It's gonna burn your ammo quickly. So I'm gonna do it again for test 2 and see how well the recoil controls, or how it goes. I kinda expect what to happen. It's quite almost similar to the original Skorpion, except it stayed in the middle, but still went vertically and a little bit to the right, and I stopped around here. You can see a few bullets hitting the vent. Alright, this time I'll just spray this wall here. I won't spray it on this side because I want to see how the Kimbo goes, and I'll try to control as I can. Alright, going hot. Okay, I didn't really do much of a good job because I think I was trying to anticipate the rate of fire with 2 of these guns. But boy, these things were nuts when I fly. I didn't even have a chance. Even though I have usually a quick reaction time, that was a little bit too quick for me. So let me try to master it again. God. Okay, the first time I wasn't expecting it. The second time, trying to do a lot better, and I have to say, it's still pretty nuts on a very few guns. We're trying to fire full auto. Let me try to at least burst fire with these. Of course, it's a lot better to burst fire with the Skorpion compared to fire in the solo versions or the base version. And well, I'm gonna bring out my fully decked out Skorpion and see if it does any better. I'll see you in a second. Alright, we're back with my fully decked out Skorpion, and I do have the, of course, extended mags, which looks like dual mags. I'll show you that it does nothing when it comes to reload times with this. Normally you think it was helping to reload faster, but it doesn't. All it does is increase your magazine capacity, which is a little bit kind of weird. Hopefully they can actually improve some reload ammunition for Payday 3. And I really hope they go a little bit more in depth with the guns, because I would actually have a fun time playing Payday 3 just for the sake of the weapons. enough about that. Let's actually test the gun out. Going hot. Still goes over to place. So yeah, even though I have a lot of stability on the gun, the weapon, and of course, it's probably to expect it because the accuracy is just not the greatest. It doesn't really have high accuracy because already this is a machine pistol, which should be expected. But at least the stability and the recoil is a lot more controllable. And now, speaking of recoil, I'm going to say how this weapon does without having the recoil being controlled. Alright, going hot. Well, it definitely has a lot better stability. It does mostly meet up in the middle and does drift a bit to the left, but so far still pretty controllable. Now, speaking of controllable, I will try to control the recoil this time. So let's see how it does. Alright, here we go. Doesn't look really too bad. It just looks like the base version. Could have been a lot better. And funny enough, I forgot to put the laser sight on, but it's no big deal. Okay, let me try this again, and hopefully I can do it better. A lot better than the first time. It probably helped that every time I move down, my screen does a little shake a little bit. Every time the gun just wants to move from side to side. Well, that's it for the solo version. Here's my fully decked out akimbos. And I have to say, it does look pretty badass with the magazine sticking out to the gun. But sucks that the reload time does not. Sadly, this one does not affect my reload speed. Yep, still has some pretty insane recoil. So I gotta try this again without controlling the recoil. I'll wait for the bullets to go away. Funny how they just magically disappear. Here we go. Yeah, basically each individual bullet does go up and not really have a much tight grouping, but that's where all my shot are, and I have a very, very large group around that area. So if you're able to use that recoil to your advantage, you could probably just do well and just melt anything in your way. Alright, this time I'm going to try to control the recoil this time. Alright, here it goes. Well, I do have to say, this could be... I don't know, I wouldn't say wasn't good, but it wasn't bad either. But I do say it's much better than trying to control the recoil with the solo versions. But that's gotta be much it with the Skorpion. The recoil is not that bad. The only problem is just the accuracy and the magazine capacity. If this was had a much larger mag, I probably would have had a lot more fun with it for testing. Of course I would increase it with skills, but I don't want to put much of the skills into the mix. The only skills I would have is of course the ammo bag and even a secondary assault skill, just to, you know, give it a little bit more ammo. After all, after all, increasing more ammo does not affect the gun at all. In terms of its accuracy, stability, you just get more ammo. Well, that's gotta be it. And now I'm gonna show you guys my final conclusion, or tell you my final conclusion on the Skorpion. See you in a second, guys. Overall, the Skorpion is kind of a typical run-of-the-mill of the low damage, high rate of fire, high concealed SMGs. Nothing's really unique or stand out with the weapon, besides its, well, its sexy gun model, especially with the stock being folded in. And it's played similar to the other SMGs in many parts. So we have like the MP9, the Micro Uzi, the Tech 9, heck, even the Sterling. Well, Sterling has a very slow rate of fire. But mostly those three SMGs. They almost feel similar to each other. They have almost similar rate of fire, and also not only that, this is the base stats. This is a Micro Uzi. Or you can say that it's basically, the Skorpion's basically a shittier version of the Micro Uzi. As it has a much larger magazine capacity by default, has a little bit more ammo, a faster rate of fire, a lot more stability, a little more concealed, a bigger threat, and a much shorter reload time. Like, what? Like how? Of course, the Skorpion was a paid SMG, and so is the Micro Uzi. Like, what? And I'm comparing the base stats too. I'll just show you one more time. Here's the base stat for the Skorpion. Just don't mind the damage and the total ammo. But when you look at the Micro Uzi, it's better. It's better in every way. Like, what? This is so dumb. I bet it says that for the other low damage SMGs. Like, the buff I would love to give to the other low damage SMGs would be increase a bit of their damage. I want them to deal a little bit more damage compared to the other weapons that have good accuracy, to make up for the loss of that accuracy and the small magazine capacity. But there's really no purpose to use this if you just use the Micro Uzi itself. I'm a little bit baffled when I just saw the stats. It's just ridiculous. I say that the only purpose for these weapons is just play for the fun. Like, if you're bored using a Micro Uzi, you can use the Skorpion, but bear in mind you're just gonna have a slower time to kill, don't have a high concealment, and a much smaller magazine. I really hope Overkill could at least give more love to the other SMGs throughout the course of their City of Gold campaign on PC. At least give it more love there. Well, that's it for the Skorpion, and I have to say thank you for watching, everyone. Until next time, farewell, and have a wonderful day, everyone.